So, welcome to the final vlog of my journey across America on Route 66. At the end of today, I will be on Santa Monica Pier. At the end of the journey, and I've got a couple of days in Los Angeles and California to chill out. I'm going to go and see. I'm going to go to the Sequoia National Park and see those big redwood trees that I wanted to, that I'd kind of bookmarked before the start of the trip, and go and see the biggest tree in the world. That'll be a good way to end the overall trip. But in terms of Route 66 and these last couple of 100 miles, I'm going to drive slow, soak it all in, visit a few places on the way, and try and savor every moment of it. Really, it's been quite a trip. There's been ups and downs, but it's been mainly ups. And I'm not quite sure how to feel right now. I'm sure I'll probably feel a little bit sad actually by the time that it's over, but I won't be too sad that the driving is coming to a close, because that's been it's been hard work on your own. One of the best parts of driving along Route 66 is that you're never too far away from a piece of art. Now, I've just visited one of my favourite pieces of art along the Mother Road, which is Elmer Long's Bottle Tree Ranch. Now, back in the 50s, Elmer Long had this idea of making a tree out of bottles. I think he made his first one in the late 50s, and that ranch now has over 200 installations of these bottle trees, and you're literally walking through a forest of these beautiful bottle trees interspersed with loads of old artifacts, like old bombs, old typewriters, chairs, like old vintage branded signs. Like, it was also, as well, because of the wind in the desert in California, there's a soundtrack, there's a symphony of wind that goes through these bottles all the time, and yeah, it's a really quite poignant, beautiful piece of art. I'm really happy that I've got to experience that. I'm now heading to a famous pizza place called Cross-Eyed Cow Pizza, which is recommended to me as a really good place to get a pizza. So I'm gonna stop there for some lunch and plan my final couple of hours on this road. So I've just been to see the original McDonald's, which was opened by Dick and Mac McDonald in 1937, and after a while ended up getting pretty popular, particularly post-war, with all the soldiers coming back, wanting to start families, and lots of little mouths to feed. And they realised after the original menu, it had like a fair amount of choice on it, but they realised that 80% of their sales were burgers and fries. And so in the end, they opened a different site, with some big marketing man behind it, and they started only selling burgers and fries. Obviously things got added as and when, but the McDonald's in its fast food iteration was thus created. But being in that little museum was quite interesting. And you look back at some of the 80s like Happy Meal toys, and even they seem like quite vintage and quite cool and romantic now, because that was this is 45 years ago, and it is amazing the passage of time and how that makes us feel about the past and nostalgia. And I've always been a big sort of lover of the feeling of nostalgia, and I guess that's why I've enjoyed this so much, is that you can be nostalgic for a time and a place that you didn't even experience, just from the vibe and the feel of it. And you know, like a Polaroid photograph, there's more of an aesthetic to a Polaroid photograph than one that you can just see online. There's an aesthetic and a romance to it, and I think I've really lent into that side of me quite a lot this trip, and it's been perfect for that. Alright, so we are in Beverly Hills. We're about 8 miles from Santa Monica Pier, the end of Route 66, and it is a very slow entry in progress. You forget how much longer things take in a city. It is pretty wild how much slower it takes just to go a few miles. But do you know what? It's actually really nice on here. Absolutely gorgeous building to my left, don't even know what that is. And I'm going to enjoy the last sort of 25 minutes of Route 66. All right, we made it to Santa Monica Pier, 2,500 miles. Now, all I can see is the Pacific. Get in. I probably should have thought of something eloquent to say at this point, but I literally have nothing to say. I feel tired but exhilarated. This is my view. Now that it's all over, let's take stock of what I've achieved. With the most obscene cocktail that I can find on Santa Monica Pier. What a beautiful ending to a beautiful journey. So now that I've come off the beach, come off the pier, I'm going to drive into my accommodation for tonight, completely off Route 66. It's a time of reflection and slight melancholy because it's come to an end, but also some sense of pride that I've managed to complete that on my lonesome. It was 2 weeks of completely new experience in a somewhat familiar but also extremely unfamiliar land, and what a setting the States provided. I went through 10 states in the end: Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, small bit of Utah, Nevada, and California. And all of them had their own little unique spin on what it means to be here. And I will remember each state forever. I will definitely come back to some of them. Arizona in particular was one that scenery just completely blew me away, and it really knocked me off my feet in terms of its beauty. And I don't think there's enough people in the world that talk about Arizona's beauty. I've not been to anywhere more beautiful than the Monument Valley I went to in Horseshoe Bend, and Antelope Canyon and the Grand Canyon, all just stunning places to be. Someone who considers themselves a bit of an introvert, having to put my first foot forward and speak to everyone, and in most cases only receive complete warmth back, and I'll be forever grateful for every interaction that I had that helped me. Even yesterday, I made a bit of a schoolboy error, and I was 10 miles away from running out of gas in the desert, and the lady that I spoke to at what I thought was an abandoned, disused disused gas station, Nicole was her name, she was immediately like, oh, we've got gas, and she has to like unlock the pump, she has to do it for you, like really authentically. You know, that, I mean, I saved my neck. But everyone was willing to, everyone who I asked to take it, obviously there was no one to take a picture of me, so like everyone who I asked to take a picture of me did so with just such like gusto, and like, you know, hell yeah, I'll take your picture, I'll take your picture a million times, whatever it takes. Like, everyone is so willing to serve each other here, or at least the people that I've met here. And like, you know, I've not been to, it's not like I've been to Wall Street, or, you know, like, or, you know, Washington DC and seen like loads of like, you know, big shots. I've seen small town America, which I think gets a bad rep. And I've been here for 2 weeks, and I've met countless people who are from that, and I can't recall a single person that I didn't think was great. You know, maybe I forgot to know them better, who knows, but on the surface, small town America is brilliant. Like, go and do it, go and visit it. It's a completely different world to anything I've experienced before, and I would happily experience it again, time and time again. It was such a ride, such a beautiful 2 weeks of self-discovery, new world discovery. I've been very privileged that I'm at a point in my life where I had nothing to do for 3 weeks between two jobs, and I feel very lucky to have been able to experience this, because most people can't. Most people are, you know, they've got a responsibility which I don't have, and I probably will have that responsibility in the future. So I have well and truly made the most of my time in the sun here, and I also appreciate everyone who's watched these. It's not been that many in like relative to, you know, people who get millions of views or whatever, but more people have watched it than I thought, and it's not like they're well edited or like flashy or anything. They're just me documenting my time, and I appreciate every single one of you who's watched it. Thank you so much for joining me on my little journey, and for sticking out till the very end. Thank you.